But you do believe that that NIST should follow the law. Would you agree that they should follow the law, or is the law up for your negotiation or your?
Did a U.S. Senator really ask a Trump nominee if the law is up for negotiation? That's exactly what happened in a tense Senate hearing when Senator Gary Peters confronted a nominee for the National Institute of Standards and Technology. What started as a policy discussion quickly turned into a direct showdown over whether the federal government will follow the law passed by Congress. Stay with me, because the exchange you are about to see raises a bigger question about government accountability, manufacturing policy, and who actually controls federal agency. But before we dive in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our coverage of major political moments happening in Washington. Now let's break down what happened.
Thank you, Senator. Dr. Rahman, I know some of my colleagues, including Senator Moreno from Ohio and others, have brought up the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program to you and have discussed aspects of it. I'm going to argue that it has certainly been an incredibly successful program since it's been implemented. In fact, I think it's probably a lifeline to many small and medium-sized manufacturers, and I hope you would agree that manufacturing is the lifeblood of this country. You cannot be a great country if you don't actually make things, and a lot of that is done at the with small and medium companies, not just the very large ones. In fact, in my home state of Michigan, MEP, which is the Michigan Manufacturing Tech Center, its record is clear. It's saved small manufacturers in our state over $25 million just in the past year. They provided training to over 4,400 individuals and service to over 300 companies. Basically, they help companies, as you may know, adopt advanced manufacturing technologies that improve efficiency as well as cybersecurity and a whole host of emerging technology issues. They've created databases to help solve critical supply chain issues, do business consultations to help small businesses streamline their operations. They address skills gaps, recruit and retain talent. In fact, I even have a list here in front of me, just an idea of some of their classes that they offer. They have courses like leveraging AI for competitive advantage, AI for quality control and assurance, AI for supply chain optimization, and go on. It's quite an extensive list of coursework that make sure that folks are on the cutting edge of technology.
The hearing began with Senator Gary Peters talking about the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, also known as MEP, for those who may not know. This program helps small and medium-sized manufacturers across the country adopt new technologies, strengthen supply chains, and train workers. Peters emphasized that manufacturing is critical to the strength of the United States. He pointed out that in his home state of Michigan alone, the program reportedly helped save manufacturers more than $25 million in the past year while training thousands of workers and assisting hundreds of companies. According to the senator, these centers help businesses adopt advanced tools like artificial intelligence for quality control, supply chain management, and productivity improvements. And here's where the political tension begins.
That's why, given all this and the success that we've seen, and I think in a bipartisan way, my colleagues have seen this in their home states, I've been confused as well as disturbed by this administration's repeated attempts to basically dismantle this program. I would hope this administration cares about manufacturing. I would hope they care about small to medium businesses. And when you have a program that works, you should build on that success instead of tear it down. So fortunately, in response to these efforts, I'm happy to say that we passed bipartisan language in a most recent spending bill that directs NIST to ensure that all 51 centers are promptly and fully funded. And again, that was broad bipartisan support in the appropriations bill. So my question for you, sir, is if confirmed, will you commit to executing the MEP program as directed by statute without reorganizing or redirecting its funds to support other initiatives within the NIST?
Thank you for that question, Senator. Like I said, I'm not in position yet, so I don't know necessarily about the changes that you're referring to specifically.
There are no changes. We're funding these institutions. So you don't know the details. You're not there now. I get it.
Right.
So you don't understand the details, and I respect that.
Peters raised concerns that the administration had previously considered dismantling or restructuring parts of this program. He argued that when something works and has bipartisan support, Washington shouldn't be trying to tear it down. Congress recently passed a bipartisan appropriations bill directing the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST, to fully fund all 51 MEP centers across the country. So Peters wanted a very clear answer from the nominee. If confirmed, would he carry out the program exactly as Congress directed? At first, the nominee responded cautiously, explaining that he wasn't yet in the position and didn't have all the details. But that answer didn't satisfy Peters, and that's when the moment that's now getting attention happened. Peters leaned in and asked a very direct question. Do you believe NIST should follow the law, or is the law up for your negotiation? That's a strong question in any hearing. The nominee responded that if confirmed, he would follow the law. But Peters pressed again, emphasizing that Congress already passed the appropriations bill and that federal agencies don't get to second-guess it based on personal opinions. Eventually, the nominee repeated clearly that he would follow the law and execute the program as directed. Now, as a right-leaning commentator, here's my perspective. First, congressional oversight is an important part of the system. Senators have every right to demand clear answers from nominees who will be running federal agencies. At the same time, nominees often walk into hearings without full operational knowledge of programs they haven't yet taken control of. So it's not unusual for them to answer carefully until they are officially confirmed. What matters most is the principle that federal agencies must operate within the law passed by Congress. That's a cornerstone of how our constitutional system works. Another interesting part of this hearing came afterward.
But you do believe that that NIST should follow the law. Would you agree that they should follow the law, or is the law up for your negotiation or your?
I will follow the law if confirmed as director of NIST. Of course, Senator.
So the appropriations bill is the law of the land, passed by Congress in a bipartisan way. So you're saying you will follow. I want to hear out of your words that you will follow the law, that you will fund these programs promptly and as directed by Congress. You don't get to second guess it. It's not about your personal views. I respect your personal views, but when you follow the law, you follow the law. You don't get a chance to do that. So I'll ask it again. If confirmed, will you commit to executing MEP program as directed by statute without doing any kind of reorganization or other kinds of fancy footwork to try to get around it?
I will follow the law,
Just a yes or no?
Senator. Yes, I will follow the law.
So you will follow the law. Great. Thank you. Dr. Rahman, I was also glad to see that you updated your response to this committee's questionnaire last night to note that you are now actually committing to respond to requests for information from ranking and minority members of the congressional committees without reservation. In that response, when that question was asked, it was a whole lot of legalese. Basically, it was trying to avoid answering the question, but I want you to confirm here today, in front of all of the committee, that if a ranking member Cantwell or a minority member of this committee makes an oversight request of NIST, you will comply.
Yes.
Very good. Your commitment is critical because it also deals with cooperating with the Government Accountability Office audits, which are requested by ranking members. So you have GAO audits. And unfortunately, we have seen refusals from the administration to actually honor requests for information from the GAO. So will you commit to cooperate with all GAO audits of NIST?
Yes, Senator.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Peters also pressed the nominee about transparency and oversight, asking whether he would respond to requests from minority members of congressional committees and cooperate with Government Accountability Office audits. The nominee confirmed that he would comply with those requests and work with oversight bodies. That may sound procedural, but it actually matters a lot. Oversight is one of the main ways Congress holds federal agencies accountable to the public. And in a time when Americans across the political spectrum want more transparency from government institutions, those commitments are worth paying attention to. What this hearing really highlights is how policy debates about manufacturing, technology, and federal programs are increasingly tied to broader questions about how government agencies operate. Programs like the Manufacturing Extension Partnership may not always make headlines, but they affect real businesses, real workers, and the competitiveness of American industry. And in today's global economy, manufacturing strength is something both parties say they care about. So moments like this Senate exchange reveal how those priorities get debated in real time. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think programs like the Manufacturing Extension Partnership are essential for supporting American manufacturing? Or should the federal government take a different approach to strengthening industries? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful and want more clear, level-headed coverage of major political moments like this one, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who wants to stay informed about what's really happening in Washington. And keep watching, because the next video on your screen dives into another intense moment from Capitol Hill that you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching.